If you have not read his work, he is the editor. He's worked for Laker Nation as well as covered for the LA Clippers for the California Crusader newspaper as well too. He's also spent the entire week at the D League Showcase out in California. He's covered everything with the D League, so we're going to bring him on to talk about the D League because right now, guys are signing 10-day contracts. Sean Kilpatrick just signed that we mentioned earlier, and Greg Small was out there. So, Greg, how you doing, my friend? Welcome to Full Court Press.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Greg, basically, you were out in California last week with the D League Showcase, and for those who don't know, can you give a little information about the D League Showcase so people can kind of catch up on what's going on with that?
Yeah, the D League Showcase is the opportunity for the NBA Development League to showcase its 19 teams, mainly in front of scouts, NBA scouts, general managers, and agents, and for, of course, the fans as well. January 5th is the day where guys can start signing 10-day contracts. So this is basically the audition for the first round of 10-day contracts, call-ups, and so forth. And so it's over a few days or four games a day. The teams go at it, and the team gets crowned a champion at the end based on statistics. And the Sioux Falls won the championship this year. Sioux Falls Skyforce.
Interesting.
Okay. I have a question. We talked about Sean Kilpatrick earlier. He's a guy I thought should have been drafted anyway because the same numbers he put up in the D League is the same ones he put up in Cincinnati as a top 25 team, but I digress. Anyway, besides Kilpatrick, who are the three players that you've seen this week that you think, like, man, if they get a chance, these guys, could parlay this, into something really, really, really big? What do just your thoughts on the next three guys?
That dude, Eric Green, he plays for the Reno Bighorns, and he led the nation in scoring back in 2013 out of Virginia Tech. He led the nation in scoring at 25 points a game. Mm-hmm. He had a monster 2 games in the D League. He put up 66 points over 2 games. He had 37 points against the Westchester Knicks, and he had a hezzy that I think it was the illest hezzy that I'd ever seen in the history of the D League. He just totally shook the dude. So I think Eric Green for the Reno Bighorns, definitely. There's this kid, Raphael Putney, plays for the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. Mm-hmm. He's 6'10", and he's out of UMass, and he had 38 points. He went 6 for 11. This dude is 6'10", and he went 6 for 11 from 3. He can play offense and defense. Yeah, Raphael Putney, really ill. And a sleeper, I think, is Jordan Mickey for the Maine Red Claws. Mm-hmm. He's 20 years old. He kind of reminds me of Clint Capella. Clint Capella was in the D League last season. He got called up by the Houston Rockets, played well for them in the playoffs last season, is now averaging 7-7. So I say Jordan, I say Raphael, and I say Eric Green.
All good players.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Mickey was a guy Mark was very, very high on coming out of the draft this year. Here's some other names. Speaking of guys who were playing in the NBA, what about Jimmer Fredette? That's pretty much the biggest name that's in the D League right now, playing for the Westchester Knicks. You had a chance to see him play. What did you think about Jimmer, and do you think he has a chance to get back in the league as well, too?
Yeah, Jimmer was out there eating David Stockton's lunch. David Stockton, the son of John Stockton. I said, if John Stockton was out there, he would have been able to lock down Jimmer. But Jimmer was out there balling. He's on the road back to recovery, back to the NBA. He's playing for the Westchester Knicks. Westchester Knicks being GM'd by my man Allen Houston out of the New York Knicks. Remember Allen Houston? Allen Houston's their GM. And so Jimmer's playing his way back in. He can score. He's going to need to be able to try to get his own shot off. Now, he's great with catching and shooting, but he's going to need to try to get his own shot off. And I think he's the guy that's probably closest to getting back. That's an NBA guy.
All right, so the D League is going to be expanding next year, if I'm not mistaken, right? What cities should we be looking for teams in?
Well, you're going to have it in Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets, they got a team called the Long Island Nets. Charlotte, the Charlotte Hornets are going to have a team, which is essential because it's going to bring the D League back to the southeastern part of the country, and that's where the D League originally started. And then once they started, the rich guys came in, bought the D League teams, moved them out west. So Charlotte, they're going to have the Greensboro Swarm, and that's going to bring the D League back to the southeastern coast. The Chicago Bulls also have purchased a D League team. They haven't announced the name yet. They're going to announce it this season. I think they should call them the Chicago Michael Jordans. So they're going to expand from 19 teams to 22 teams.
The Jumpmans.
The Jumpmans, exactly. As long as they have Drake as their Drake and Future as their actual intro music to come on the court, that has to work that way.
No. They need to use the one. They need to use the Obama one. That's the Andre Drummond All-Star Vote video. I think Obama's Jumpman was better than Drake's and Future's.
Well, you see, the thing with using the word Drake, saying Drake, is because that's Mark's favorite rapper. For those who know hip-hop fans.
Boy, stop.
Yeah, he did kind of kill that guy from Philly, didn't he?
Yeah. Took his.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for another day. So, Greg, here's one last question before we let you out of here. The D League, like I said, we expanded to 22 teams. There's 30 teams in the NBA. In your opinion, how much longer is it going to take for we get to the point where we're 1-to-1? Where we actually have a true 30 NBA teams and 30 D League teams. How long do you think, in your opinion, it's going to take for us to get to that point?
I don't think any longer. I think within the next 10 years. Back in 2005, expanded from 8 to 15. So that was 7 teams. About 11 years ago. So you got 22 starting next season. You only need 8 more. And with the NBA making so much money and with it expanding on social media, I think these owners see a way. And it's also a true farm system. They need the system. You got guys like Dante Jones and Ronnie Brewer Jr., guys who are NBA veterans who are also playing in the D League. So it's a way these teams can kind of hide guys on their roster and get guys minutes and even get guys rest. And that's another reason why they're expanding the D League as well, because it's going to allow teams to do more with their NBA roster. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see 30 for 30.
Yeah, because I know down here there's an article saying that the Orlando Magic, the local team here, is about to have a D League team, and they're looking at a few cities. Orlando having 2 locations here in Orlando, either be at the UCF Arena or over at the Wild World of Sports here in Disney. They've talked about Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and a few other places. So I know the Magic were in some talks about bringing a D-League team of their own down here. So I'm assuming with Charlotte getting theirs, and I'm pretty sure Miami and Atlanta, those 2 are the next 2 that you said to bring back in the Southeast. So that's something nice to see going forward. But, Greg, if this is your first time on the show, so what we always do is we play a game called 3-Point Play. And what that works is each of the three hosts will throw a question at you. You got 30 seconds to answer it. It's pretty much anything random in the NBA. So, Mark, I'm going to let you lead this one off. What you got?
Okay. Rookie of the Year. It seems like it's coming down to Karl Anthony Towns and Kristaps Porzingis. Who do you have as Rookie of the Year this year in the NBA?
I have to say it would be D'Angelo Russell. He has the most swagged out haircut of all of the 3. So it'd have to be D'Angelo Russell of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, boy.
Interesting. I'll go next on this one. All right, so we talked Rookie of the Year. Here's a question. Which superstar in Oklahoma City will be the one to go? Will it be Russell Westbrook or be Kevin Durant? Which one leaves?
I think it's going to be Kevin Durant. I think there's an opportunity for him out in Los Angeles to go. He's had a very close relationship with Kobe Bryant, so I think it's very real, especially with the increased talent of the Lakers, that Kevin Durant can come to L.A.
All right, so they were getting on me about my Clippers pick to lead the West in the finals this year. Who are your finals choices?
Oh, wow. That's actually a really good question. I see Cleveland going again, with LeBron. I think he's still overall the best player in the game.
Agreed.
So I think you're going to have a repeat of the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers as you did last season. And I think nobody is touching Golden State right now. I think Steph and those boys are rocking and rolling, and I don't think anybody is touching the Golden State Warriors. It's funny because the Eastern Conference is actually a little bit stronger than the West, and I think the West has a little bit of Golden State Warriors fatigue right now. So I say Warriors and the Cavs. Oh yeah, and it's Lord Zingis for Rookie of the Year. On a serious note, I say Lord Zingis is Rookie of the Year.
Nice. So Greg, thank you for coming on the show tonight. But before we go, how can everybody get in contact with you and what you got coming up on your website and everything. Let everybody know about it.
You can check it out at runthetriangle.com, RUNTHE, triangle.com. You have Moses. When he was a baby, he was sent to Egypt where the pyramids are. That's where the triangles are. You know, when Jesus was fleeing death from Herod, Mary and Joseph, they fled to Egypt. That's where the pyramids, that's where the triangles are. And Michael Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, they didn't all win rings until they run the triangle. So the web New Testament in basketball. Please follow us at Twitter at Run the Triangle, Instagram at Run the Triangle, YouTube Run the Triangle. All the social media accounts are Run the Triangle. Check it out, Run the Triangle, baby. It's a New Testament in basketball.
And don't forget, check out his YouTube page because he actually had an interview with Nick Van Exel, the head coach of the Texas Legends. It's actually a really good piece, so take a look at that. Gregory Small, thanks for coming on Full Court Press tonight, talking about the D-League. We got to do this again soon.
Excellent. Thank you guys for having me. You guys got those tight Orlando jerseys out there, man. In the 90s, those were the best, those Magic jerseys.
I'm sorry. Paul's the big Magic guy. I'm more of a Hornets guy myself, but thanks for coming on.